Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe. So today we're continuing review of Put a Ring on It, and it's going to be season 2, episode 3 and 4. We're catching up so we can really get down to the meats of it. So the first couple we're going to be talking about is going to be Jessica and Eric. The theme of the dates this week is both couples, both sides, the male and the female, both of them are going to be going on separate dates this week, but they're going to be meeting at the same venue. Dr. Nicole, I don't know, I guess she said this was going to be an exercise. So it's going to be an exercise in trust and control, and they're going to, I guess, have to deal with trust and communication issues. I think this is something that, Jessica and Eric have, to work. It really looks like as soon as both couples are in the same venue, when Eric's with his date and when Jessica's with her date, or rather as soon as Eric comes in with his date, Tynesha, she seems completely, rattled, just bothered by their presence and everything. And one to note is during the date, particularly with Eric, his date Tynesha, they seem to have a really good, back and forth, and he seemed to be really engaged into what she was saying. They did bring up one topic, I think, that Tynesha brought up. She was saying whether it was a question or a statement as to whether a woman finds a man in another relationship more desirable or more attractive. That's a good question. And other than, maybe some obvious, somebody with some issues of some sort, I think it's not so much that, oh yeah, I'm only attracted to someone who's in a relationship, but maybe a woman's looking at the fact that they more or less, they admire and they're seeing, because maybe at this point in time, a lot of men are not necessarily going into a relationship to commit. And so once they see a man who's committed in a relationship, they're almost saying, well, if I had that man, then he'd be committed to me. But it's not necessarily him just committing to everyone, but finding someone he's committed to. So if you find someone, this is just, hypothetical, you see someone in a relationship and so it's that premise. Like when they say a man with a ring appears to be more desirable. It's not so much that the man is more desirable, but the fact that he has that ring on his finger is probably what is desirable, in that he is someone who is ready to commit. But then again, I think the question here is he just committing in a place of life where he's just ready to commit, or he's found the person he wants to commit to? Sometimes it's a bit of both. And that's when you don't know, because some men who swear they never want to settle down, they meet someone who makes them begin to think, and they decide that they want to commit. Whereas there are some men who suddenly get to a point in their life and they're ready to just settle down and go for the things they probably in the past didn't want to, so they now want to hang up their player hat. So really, I think it's both. But can you know who's who up front? I think something that I don't know if I would say I was impressed with it, that Eric was talking about, like he was really enjoyed his date, not so much because of what she looked like, but because of the conversation they had. Obviously, Miss Jessica was upset by this, and she had, come out with a retort that, yeah, he didn't really have much to look at, so the only thing he could focus on was the conversation. So clearly her insecurities are coming out off the bat. So maybe for her, as an attractive woman, she hasn't felt as fulfilled, I guess, in that arena of, her intellectual ability or capacity. And so I feel that once she was faced with that, with him saying that must have been, I feel that's a soft spot for her. And so immediately she comes out with a clause and decides to attack somebody else who she doesn't know. And she knows there's no threat to her, but still wants to tear her down to make a point. And I think another thing that kind of emphasizes that point is when they were talking about some of the conflicts or issues they have, when he was saying, 80% of folks don't really want to hear about his problems. This was him having some retort as to why he didn't always share, or why he wasn't a great communicator. Jessica was like, well, you know what? When you tell me when you're having an issue, I give you my feedback. And he was saying, well, let me phrase it properly. He was saying, well, he felt that the feedback that she gave him, he had already thought of, so it wasn't anything new. So to him, it was either useless or just like everybody else. And right there, I know that hit a chord with her. But then it's like, it's not, and with this instance, it's not really about her in this point. Now it's about him. So where does he get off saying that the advice she gave him, because it wasn't something that he had thought, because it was just the same as he had thought of, therefore he considered that information useless? That's disrespectful. And I wonder if that is probably what plays a part in her insecurity about, how she is beneath the end, beneath the hood. Because definitely there are some triggers there, and I wonder why he's acting like that. So he, in terms of picking, he decides not to have a second date with Tanisha. She decides to have a second date with Clarence. Now the question is she having a second date with Clarence to retaliate? Or is she having a second date with Clarence? I feel like this was more or less to make a point. And then, I don't know, I won't really go far ahead of myself and say that Eric is a sapiosexual, but is he truly interested in someone who is, intelligent? And not to say that, Jessica's not intelligent, but if there's certain things, like for everyone, there's certain things that you have on your list, the things that, prioritize, that this is really important, and So for him, if he's making it out like intelligence or certain intellect was important, but he's saying he's not seeing that in Jessica, then maybe it wasn't that important. Or maybe was he kind of swayed by looks? And at that time he was younger. Well, it's only 4 years ago. Maybe at that time he wasn't at a point where he really felt like he wanted to settle down. So these are like the ifs and the buts and like really what is, or is it just, as we begin to strip the layers, we'll see more. So right now we're seeing that I'm seeing in Jessica that she has some insecurity about her, or rather he makes her feel like she's not intelligent enough, that so she knows that she looks good, and so she feels that, he's attracted to her, but she wants him to be attracted to the inside as well. All right, so the next couple, Darian and Alexia. So, they've got their date thing going on. He's going on that second date with, I think her name is Kai. And then, of course, Alexia's going on a date with somebody. I don't remember who it was. But, what she mentioned was like, I think it was right in the, where they have a little personal interview. She was saying that she didn't really trust him because he's a rapper. The question here is, you met him as a rapper, so why did you persist or continue with the relationship? Were you hoping he would change? Or did you think you'd live with it and be okay with it? So if we look at those two things, did you think he would change? It's a mistake we as women do all the time. We go into a relationship with a man based on his potential, not his actual being, who he is, and hoping he will change. Whereas a man goes into a relationship for the actual thing the lady is, and hoping she doesn't change. So going in for opposite things. So it's like that hope. Did she think it was changed, or did she think at that time what her expectations were? She didn't have expectations, and maybe they have changed in 14 years. It's hard to say, and we'll begin to see more. She begins to talk. But so at this point, it's why is she with him? Why she waited 14 years? And he, there's certain things he's not meeting. And then with her date, who is Desi, she was constantly making reference to Darian or bringing him into the conversation. Desi was like, forget about him. Let's talk about us. So yeah, he recognized that, her boyfriend or whoever he is, he recognized that he was with, in a rap group, but at this point he's not focused on that. He's focused on you. This is the second person to tell you that, because prior to that, your prior date also said the same thing. So there's a theme here. It looks like who you are is tied in with who he is, and so maybe that's why, even though you're not getting what you want, you won't let go. And then there's something her date asked her, he was like, do you think you're being, I think he made a statement like she's being played because she's not getting what she wants. They haven't really talked about marriage, even though she wants marriage, but she's still hanging on, and she seems confused. Of course, as they're talking, Darian and his date walk by, and she's holding his fingers and walking by. And then she immediately comes out herself. Oh, let go of his hand. Sis, you're doing too much. That's precisely why no one's going to, I don't know. Let me put it like this. Most people, particularly males, will not succumb to that kind of pressure. When you're trying to push your will on someone, you're literally going to push them in the other direction. And that's what it looks like. What you could have done was you could have just played it cool and had a conversation with him about it later, saying, I didn't like that, or however you felt. But doing it in front, you embarrassed yourself, you embarrassed your date, and you embarrassed Darian. What did you have to get? You didn't get anything from it. So you completely lost by that kind of display. So you have, if I'm speaking to her directly, some growing to do. And you've probably been through a lot of things, and so you feel a certain way about this. But that's not the right approach. So that's the wrong attack for this problem that you have. And you probably do have a problem, but that's not the right way to fix your problem. So they finally get to the conference. They do discuss. She admits that the way she behaved was probably out of line. Not probably, it was out of line. But she's still double backing and defending her actions, talking about this respect thing. This, like, I don't want to call it hood mentality, but this kind of thing about street, like, rah, 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 you're not going to disrespect me. But you're disrespecting yourself by staying in a relationship for 14 years, even though you wanted to be married. If you disrespect yourself, why would they respect you? You show people how to treat you. For them to treat you badly, you've given them permission to treat you badly, and you've given him permission to keep you hanging for 14 years, even though you want to get married and have children. So the most disrespect is actually coming from yourself. So you displaying this poor behavior in public is not changing anything. Don't make you look like rah, rah, rah. You look weak and probably you look like you're just kind of tumbling. So that's the thing. It's like that, like, you're not going to disrespect me. You disrespected yourself. I'm sorry. Further on into their story, Darian expresses his desire for a better sex life, that they haven't had a great sexual connection for years. Looking like he wants to make it work. I think they'd said that after they'd both gone on individual dates, they got home and really had a really heart-to-heart conversation, and now he's ready. It looks like he wants to open up more now and kind of maybe show why he hasn't given her what she wants, which is a commitment with marriage. And then, while this is going on, it makes me wonder, is she listening? But she does respond with, she thinks he's cheating, or she's not sure, it's something, but more or less his actions and his moves, the way he's been moving and the way he does things, makes her suspect either he's having something on the outside or something isn't right, and she's not satisfied with the way he's been communicating with her about his movements. And watching this, as they're talking, it looks like, now by no means am I saying he's innocent, forgive him, no, but it looks like he's earnestly trying to connect. But at this point, she just appears really inflexible. Now, is it because she's been hurt and neglected repeatedly for a few times? Could that be it? But that is usually what hardens a woman. He goes on to say further on that he wants to work it out with Alexia, but wanting to and actually happening are two different things. And also they start this counseling session with Dr. Nicole, because it's their turn this week. And what I'm struck by, this is what I see. I see that she's accepting boundary infractions without handing out any repercussions for breaking those boundaries. He breaks a boundary, crosses a boundary, does what she doesn't want. But on the other end, what's the repercussion to show that that was a boundary that he crossed? Now, I don't know the full story, but I'm just looking at it from, this point here at the beginning of the story, like, y'all are still together. Case in point, he has 2 children from 2 different women within the span of their relationship. Yes, they've admitted that they've been on and off. So I'm going to give him and give them the benefit of the doubt that both of these children were conceived during breaks. How does that make her feel? I don't know how old the children are, but how does that make her feel? He says he's open to having more children, but he's not open to actually providing the commitment that would be security for those children. And that makes me, because I think a little while back I had mentioned that, there's something that we don't know. There's something that she knows that we don't know. And I think this might be part of it. The fact that, he's, conceived 2 children while they were in a relationship. Break, or maybe not break, but they were still in relations. It's not like she's shown up, because I doubt that if she conceived or got pregnant during a break, I doubt they'd still be together. And it's just like this double standard. I'm not here to rave and yell and scream, but it's just this double standard that women are subjected to these things. They're meant to be the strong man. Nobody wants to be strong. Like, it's not a compliment. If someone tells you they're strong, it's not a compliment. Because look at this lady. I won't call her a girl. Look at this lady. She's 34, wants to have children, but wants to be married first. Good. But I don't know who she was before, but she does seem, the fact that she seems really, somewhat inflexible with short patience, short fuse, is probably a testimony to what she's probably experienced in this relationship. Why is it the woman that has to go through everything? Why is she the one responsible for the growth of the relationship? She's the one taking anything. What has he taken from her to grow? So has he grown? So, you know, you begin to understand her attitude. But the question now is why she's still hanging around. Is she hoping? We always hope. We're always still hoping. We're always still hoping. So they have another, you know, another bone in the bonnet is he's been talking like she has some friendships, platonic friendships with males that he has an issue with. I could tell him this for free. You don't need Dr. Nicole to tell him that the reason why she has these relationships with her platonic friends that he doesn't like, and the reason why she's insisting on keeping them, is because it's simply retaliation. Because platonic relationship with men and having 2 children over here, come on now, it's like this, It's like, come on. You can't even measure, they're not even the same measuring scale. But she wants to hold on to something to turn in the knife. Humans were really simple at the end of the day, you know? She's still hanging in there. So if she's hanging in there, she's hoping for a change. So, you know, he, of course, is going on another date with Kai. He's excited about it, talk about he wants to be around femininity. All what he wants, he has crushed and strangled in the woman he's been with for 14 years. All the things he desires from it. Anything that he wants, like the excitement, you know, flowing, the conversation, the freeness, the affection, the femininity, all these things he wants from a date, he could have in his woman, but he literally strangled that out of her, strangled and crushed the life out of her based on his actions. And is that real life? That's real life. When men say they don't want the woman to change, all these things that happen, chances are, guys, you had a hand in quenching that light, that flame that you want in that woman. So you got with a woman, she was all these things you wanted, but based on your actions, you put the light out. And then you start complaining that the light is out. But never look back and say, what did I do to cause this light, this flame to go away? Like having a candle, you light a candle, you put it up there. And it's, you know, it's a nice scented candle and it's burning. It's giving the room a lovely glow and a lovely odor is going around the room. Fragrance, it's lavender, it's relaxing. And then you go ahead and you open up the window during a thunderstorm and then wonder why the flame is out and the scent has stopped. You have a hand in it. Now, am I putting blame on one or the other? No, but I'm saying the guys, when they have a complaint about a woman they've been with for a while, turn back and look at yourself and say, what have I done as to why I'm not getting what I want that I had before? Now, if you don't have it before, I don't know, I can't speak on that, but I'm speaking on something you had before and now it's no longer there and you're wondering why it's not there. She won't give it to you. It's like, because for some reason, women put up with these things, don't necessarily communicate. Maybe they communicate so much and they're tired of talking. So they stop talking. But it's the loudest language is body language. It's louder than words. And that's what she has left to show. So I don't know how her story began, but all she has left for us right now to see is her actions and her body language, which honestly stinks. You know, she real defense, all this, it stinks. Nobody want to be mean like that. She's been through something. So my question now is really love to see where this goes, how this works out. This is one couple I really want to watch because whether they stay together or they split up, I hope they're lessons for both the couple and those of us, the viewers. So now we're going on to Sean and LaRonda. Sean, say he's a Sagittarian, but I'm not really going with that right now. But let's go into their story. So anyway, with LaRonda, her date is easy on the eyes. What is Sir James, Mr. James? Yes, Sir James. Nice museum. Look at, of course, my boy Sean stand up. He talk about like, dude is a linebacker or a superhero. Like he's funny, you know. I think the charm to Sean is the fact that he's funny. He is funny. Because he's funny looking. He's just good. He does like, I want to say like the Martin and what's the other guy's name? Martin and this other guy. Like, so their comedy isn't just their words, but the way they act. And sometimes he has his eyes bugged out, like he really lives his comedy. So that's his charm, because he's funny. He's not unattractive, but his comedy is all over him. So anyway, we're getting ready for their dates. And, you know, LaRonda's dressed nice. Nice little number. But she's got her glasses on. And I don't know what makes me think, like, with or without the glasses, this is a very attractive woman. But she makes me think like Peter Parker, because she's so, you know, she's got her glasses on, she's at home, so, unassuming, just really nice, no airs. Take those glasses off and she's out in her boots, because I think she wore like a pink dress with some boots. She's a baddie, I'm just saying, not to objectify her. So it's just almost like the two roles. At home, she's like real cool, chill, my home girl, doing whatever, because I think she was ironing his shirt or his pants or something, doing something. So she's doing all this, but when she stepped out, y'all can say what you want, but my sis, she's all boxes. I think that's beauty and brains and just a great attitude. I don't know the whole story yet. Their story just... So of course, they have their regular, post-date discussions that they have, the namaste moment, circle, let's discuss. And of course, Sean is cracking his jokes, God, he's going to diminish her date, Mr. Good-looking, Mr. Superhero linebacker, I guess to make himself feel better. Of course, Dr. Nicole calls him out, but we can see that's what's happening. We know he's very insecure, very triggered. I'm not sure what led, the question I would always want to know from these characters is what made them decide to do the show. Because you're putting yourself out on Front Street and they want the honest reaction. So it's like, do you want everyone to see this reaction? I don't know. Because he's a very sensitive guy, does he want everyone seeing him always crying? Because people are going to make fun of him. I'm not making fun of him, but people are going to make fun of him. Like, he's always crying. But there's nothing wrong with man crying. I don't want you crying every day. That's too much. But there's nothing wrong with man crying. So, so they get to the part where it's like, okay, do you want to go on another date? And you can see that LaRonda she's conflicted. She wants to say yes, but she don't want to say yes because she don't want to hurt Sean, because he looked like he could jump off a bridge if he hears the wrong answer. I wonder what's that, like passive manipulation? Like it's a low-key, silent histrionic reaction. Like he's not acting it out. He's not saying it, but he's acting it out. Like, I don't know. I'm just playing with words here, but yeah. So, but thankfully, my good sis said yes, and I think that's part of it. If this is really going to work, you have to believe in the process, and see where it plays. And so, of course, Sean, what is reality TV without a little pettiness? Sean's gonna say, yeah, he wants to see Brittany too, because and he's just reacting to the fact that Sean said yes to Mr. Good Guy. What's his name? Mr. James, Sir James, where her name is, And so two second dates for these two. At this point, I would say that Sean's insecurity will definitely crash this relationship. If he doesn't find some way to heal, some way to help, this relationship is not going to last. It just is what it is. Because LaRonda is a beautiful woman. She's a smart woman, great figure, has things going for her. But it's like trying to keep a butterfly in like a box. You don't want the butterfly to fly out and get fresh air. And that's what he wants to do. He knows what she is. Does she know what she is? Maybe she does, but she just likes him. I don't know. But you can't force someone to stay with you. You want them to stay with you. And he's not there yet. And he needs to get there for this relationship to be healthy. Or else it's going to be toxic. Without a doubt, it will be. Because I feel when you see her, she's under pressure to do things because she doesn't want him to unravel. That's not like, he's not your baby, he's not your son. He's a grown man. So I'm happy that we decided to review the show, because there'll be things in here that we can really kind of break down and think about. Even when I'm not talking, I'll go back and think about it. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There's one comment that, before, towards the end, where I don't know if it was a comment or just something. It's like, the question now is, with all these, particularly with Sean and that, the other people having issues, men having issues. So the question is, if you don't trust yourself, how will you trust your partner? You won't, because we're always superimposed. We always, project. We always project. As humans, we project. I won't say we never, but it's unusual for us to see it through the other person's eyes. We always see it through our eyes. And so we're projecting. We would see it the way we would do it. Doesn't mean the way we're seeing it is the way the person would do it, but we can only see it the way we do it. is what it is. So if the guys or someone doesn't trust himself, he's not going to trust his partner. That's what I'm saying. Guys, it's been real. I appreciate it. I'm actually beginning to enjoy this. So hope you can enjoy this journey with me together. All right, guys. Lola over and out. Thank you.